angels and devils and all who may wander here. It is Amanda Christina, and I want to talk about something that is becoming more and more prevalent at the moment. And this is Heavenly Imaginings. This is something that has been on my mind a bit. I've seen people I admire. I've seen it bandied. I've seen it happen on Twitter. I've seen it. It's not to disparage anyone or to put anyone down or anything like that, but it is to make people aware. When you use mental health terms in everyday language, as this traumatized me, I have PTSD from this, or I'm going through mania or hypomania because of this, or I'm even using the phrase "I'm dead." When you think about that, with how many people are suicidal these days, just that is there are so many little things like that. Using "I'm depressed" when you're really just sad, or there's a whole lot of words, and for some reason they're all flying out of my head at the moment. But there are so many things. Like, I see so many people using using mental health words in everyday language, in everyday terms, which takes away from the meaning of those terms. And as I said, it's not to disparage anyone, it's not to put anyone down, because this is very common at the moment. But I wanted to have a discussion about it because I think it is so very important. And yes, this is going up as a Vlogmas video because this has been on my mind a lot and I haven't had a chance to record this yet, and I really wanted to. Language has power. And when we create something as a slang word or a slang term, I can give you an example. Bitch. Bitch used to be the worst thing you can call someone. And yes, some people still call people that as an insult. But a lot of young people call each other bitch, just like, oh, yo, my best bitches, and it's become a less harsh word. Now, that's not something I have an issue with. But when you think about mental health and you think about the impact of each of those things in someone's life, PTSD can have someone curled up in fetal position, terrified for their life, because they've been through something so traumatic, so soul scarring, that certain triggers will set them off. Now, you think about that, and then you think about not being able to find something you want at a shop and saying, oh, I have PTSD from searching for said item. Now, you think about the two different... I hope you can understand this. I hope you understand I'm coming from a place of love here, a place of someone who has mental health issues, who really wants to see the mental health community embraced more in a positive way, to have less stigma around mental health. And when you take the power of those words away, when you take their true meaning away, when people don't understand what having post-traumatic stress disorder can be, when they don't understand what OCD can be. OCD can be so many things. It can be the cleaning and the compulsive hand washing. For me, it can be obsessively playing a game until I run out of the ability to play the game, or it can be searching all night, 2 or 3 days, to find certain things for a project I have in my head. It can be so many things, and it is different for different people. Post-traumatic stress disorder is different for different people. It is a really hard thing to live with. It is not something that's easy. There are things in my life, like I was talking to a friend of mine today, and we were talking about turtlenecks and things, and I don't like things around my throat. I feel like at some point in my life, I feel like I must have been strangled by something or had something around my throat really tightly, because I literally get really panicky. I can wear chokers, like I wore one to Mary's wedding, and literally towards the end of the reception, before I left, I was literally taking it off my neck. I just could not handle it anymore. There are times where in my clothing, if it comes up a bit too high for me, and it'll be like, it doesn't have to be like up here, it can be just sort of down the bottom of my neck a bit, and it can just sort of hit me on the back of the neck or the front of the neck. I will literally, if it's an around the house thing, I'll literally take a pair of scissors and snip just a little piece so that it opens out a little bit, so that I'm not feeling so constricted. I can't tell you why that is. I have no knowledge of why I have that. There's a whole lot of things I can't tell you. I hear fighting in the street and I will literally tremble in my bed. Like if someone's out there yelling and violence, like really strong violent behavior. I had an ex here once who legitimately felt like he was raping my room. That's the only way to describe it, just his energy. He was tearing my room apart looking for something. I couldn't handle it. I like just the amount of negativity and violence he was throwing out energy wise. I picked up my handbag, I picked up my bag, I took my phone, and I walked down to the Oval near me. I called my sister and I said, I can't go home right now. This is what's going on and this is why. I can't go until he's gone. Because I really do not cope with that energy. I don't know why, and it's as my mental health has kind of deteriorated. I wouldn't say it's I don't know that deteriorated is the right word, because I think a lot of it, because it has been undiagnosed. When things aren't diagnosed, as you know, you can't treat them, and so things left undiagnosed. And there's my psychologist has talked about the fact that she really does believe I have what's called compact post-traumatic stress disorder, which means that I don't just have post-traumatic stress disorder from one instance. There are multiple instances in my life that have given me PTSD and that stop me from being able to fully function, that affect things like my social anxiety. So when you look at it like that, when you think about that, and then you throw out a term like, this has given me PTSD, this has, and it's, as I said, this isn't people who would ever want to be dismissive, or who would ever want to lessen the impact of mental health words. It is just something that has become so common that nearly everybody is doing it. I see at least 2 or 3 instances of this every single day on my Twitter feed, on my Facebook feed, in conversations with people. And I wanted to make a video on it because I know I have a lot of other people with mental health issues here, so I'd like you to chime in below, please, and let me know how you feel about that. Do you think that it brings more light to mental health, or do you think it actually diminishes the power of those words and of what those words mean? Because I have that's my take on it, that there are other words we can use that would best describe a situation. They might take a little bit longer, they might not be as easy to find, but that would give you the same impact, or say, oh look, this has been, you know, a testing journey or a trying journey, and I feel like I never want to look at X object again, or I feel like this has, you know, there's always going to be this memory in my head of how hard this hill was to climb, or you know, I feel extremely sad. I understand sadness from inside out a lot better now. Or there are so many ways we can use it, instead of saying I'm default depressed, or I'm anxious, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I have PTSD, or my OCD. There are so many things, and I see so many people misuse the term OCD. It is crazy. Like OCD for I just like. There is, yes, OCD has various things across the spectrum. I cannot argue with that. But liking, you know, your pens put in a straight line on your desk, like if it's, you know, 3 pens or something, that's not OCD. That's just liking it how you like it. If you get really, really upset and really freaked out by something being moved out of place, that could be considered potentially OCD. Or you may test on the autism spectrum. There are so many things, like, so this is why I'm trying not to be dismissive. I'm trying, like, I understand, because there are things in my life that have been so in my view, traumatic to me, but they're not necessarily traumatizing things. So I get misusing words. I do it all the time. I'm no saint. I'm not perfect. I am the least perfect person you will ever meet. I know a lot of people don't think that, but you just have to look around my house to know and to see what I struggle with and to hear me talk, because I am very honest with you guys. Like, I have put off doing face vids because I haven't been feeling well. I haven't wanted to. And then, like, it's just, everything just feeds into everything else. So I'm determined, and I will talk about that a little bit in another video. But I wanted to address this because I think it's so important. And I know the person who's going to think this is only about you because she watches my videos, although she doesn't comment. This is not only about you. I promise this is more something that I am seeing across the board. So it is not about you. I wanted to talk about it because I think it's so, so important. And I think it's really important that certain things, whilst it is important to talk about them, it is important to make them common knowledge what they stand for. But it is a really not a good thing to dilute their meaning or to have it be a common word that everyone throws around like everybody has these things, because that is not true. And I really think that is important. Please, as I said, do chime in below. Even if you don't have mental health issues, I would like to know your feelings on this. I think it's so, so, so important. You know how I feel about mental health stuff, so I wanted to talk about this. Anyway, I will talk to you soon, my angels and devils. I hope you are well. I hope life is treating you well. As I said, please do join in this discussion below, because I'm really curious to see how other people feel about this. I probably haven't found all the words that I'm trying to think of, like depression, OCD, PTSD, the ones that stick out in my mind the most, but I know I have seen other stuff that just... some of it infuriates me the way it's used. Some of it's just like, I understand why you're saying that, but you could choose your words a little better. So like, as I said, I'm not saying this to disparage anyone. For me, I like knowing how I can be a better ally. Like I have with friends who are trans, who fit along that whole wide rainbow spectrum of LGBTQT. I love knowing and learning from them how I can treat them better, how I can be a better ally. So I am hoping that this is the kind of video that will help you, if you are not someone who suffers from mental health, to be a better ally to those of us who do. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so, so much for listening to this. Remember, as always, you really are amazing. You are totally incredible. Even if all you did today was get up, have something to eat and nothing else, you are amazing because you got that far. And as always, please, please do remember, you truly, truly do matter. Bye all.